Hi, this is Javin Kharo. Today we discuss diffusion. Now, what is that? Diffusion is the movement of molecule from region of higher concentration of a region of lower concentration down to concentration gradient. Now, what is diffusion? Diffusion is the process of movement of molecule under concentration gradient. It is important process occurring in all living beings. Diffusion helps in the movement substance in and out of the cell. The molecule move a region of higher concentration region to lower concentration until concentration become equal throughput. Now, liquid and gases undergo diffusion as molecules are able to move randomly. Now, example, take water in a beaker, add a few copper sulfate crystal in one place, leave it and some time without disturbing it. After some time, we see the beaker contain uniform color solution. Here, both water and copper sulfate diffuse independently. They are experiment. We can interfere and solute move from higher concentration to lower concentration in a solution. Now, type of diffusion. Diffusion are widely used. Various fields such as biology, physical, chemistry, etc. Diffusion classified two main types: simple diffusion and facilitated diffusion. Now, simple diffusion, a process in which substance move through semi-permeable membrane or in a solution without any help of transport protein. For example, bacteria deliver small nutrient, water and oxygen in the cytoplasm through simple diffusion. Facilitated diffusion is a passive movement of molecule across all cell membrane from region higher concentration region to lower concentration by means carrier molecule. Now, dialysis. The diffusion solute across selectively permeable membrane. A selective permeable membrane is one of the allowed only specific ion and molecule pass through while it obstructs movement of others. Osmosis is the movement solvent molecule from region lower concentration region higher concentration semi-permeable membrane. Since water is solvent in every living being, biological define osmosis as diffusion water across selectively permeable membrane. For example, plant life. Take water, mineral, roots help osmosis. Factor affecting diffusion. There are few factors affect the process of diffusion which individually and collectively alter rate of extent diffusion. The factor include temperature, area of interaction, size of particles, the stiffness of concentration gradient. Now, example of diffusion. A tea bag immersed in cup of hot water will diffuse in the water and change of its color. A spray and perfume, room freshener will get diffused in the air by which we can sense the odor. Sugar gets dissolved even in sweetness of water without having stirred as we light the incense stick. Smoke gets diffused in the air and spread through the room. By adding boiling water, dried noodle and water diffuse causing rehydration making dried noodle plumper and saturate. Now, causes of diffusion. Diffusion is a natural and physical process which happens on its own without stirring and shaking solution. Liquid and gases undergo diffusion as the molecules are able to move randomly and molecules collide with each other and change their direction. Significance of diffusion. Diffusion important process which are involved different life process. A mention the movement of particle, ion, molecule, solution involved living species. Diffusion play important role movement of the molecule during metabolic process in the cell. Now, diffusion is important following reason. During the process of respiration, through process help diffusing the carbon dioxide gas out through cell membrane into blood. Diffusion also occurs plant cell. In all green plant, water present in the soil diffuse plant through their root hair cell, the movement of ion across neuron and that generate electric charges due to diffusion. Now diffusion process. Diffusion process comprises chemical interdiffusion, self-diffusion and interdiffusion. Chemical interdiffusion. Now, most frequently studied diffusion process is the molecular mixing of two different chemical substances. Example, interdiffusion oxygen and nitrogen. First, there are two diffusion coefficients considered. For each substance, however, there are bulk movement. The fluid during diffusion, the restriction lead to surprising result, interdiffusion. Two substances describe single diffusion coefficient. Now, interdiffusion coefficient is a mutual diffusion coefficient. Gas molecule travel over distance many molecular diameter over being dictate collision each other molecule. The traveling give gas mixture largest interdiffusion coefficient 0.1 centimeter square. Second inverse, room temperature and atmospheric pressure. Gas molecule diffuses 0.1 0.5 centimeter. Diffusion in liquid about 10,000 times slower because molecules are packed more closely. Solid state diffusion is even smaller, and because of molecules are locked in position, they never accept intercent jump. Now, self-diffusion. Diffusion occurs pure substance is called self-diffusion. It helps study taking some of the diffusing molecules isotope. Example, self-diffusion coefficient water is measured relating trace amount of water level radioactive and one of the filled with ordinary water and monitoring spread radioactive above the tube. Magnetized molecule south the texture. Gases. Number of techniques are used to measure diffusion in gases. Two bulb experiment, two vessels and gas connect narrower tube through which diffusion occurs. Diffusion is full, measuring subsequent changes. It is composition gas in vessel. Robust results obtained placing a lighter gas mixture top of denser gas mixture, vertical tube and then measuring composite along with interface time travel. Now rate of diffusion gases increases temperature. Approximate temperature 3 by 2 and inversely proportional to pressure. Interdiffusion coefficient of gas mixture, independent composition, pressure temperature. Kinetic theory shown that self-diffusion coefficient, pure gas, is inversely proportional both the square root of molecular weight and square of the molecular diameter interdiffusion coefficient. Pair of gases can estimate it taking average molecular weight, collision diameter, kinematic theory, prediction, accurate 5% pressure of the 10 atmosphere, 1 megapascal theory, which take account forces between molecules are more accurate, especially for dense gases. Now liquid. Accurate diffusion measurement. Liquid are made layering solution over a denser solution and using optical method follow the changes reactive index along with column of solution. Robust results are obtained which diffusion occur between the two solution compartments through Potts diagram and diaphragm. Many other bases yet reliable experiment techniques have been devised. Room temperature liquid. Diffusion coefficient range 0.5 to 5 into 10 raised to minus 5 centimeter square. Second inverse, diffusion is a liquid. Unlike diffusion in gases, sensitive changes composition, relative insensitive changes in pressure. Diffusion high viscosity, liquid macromolecule, then diffusion coefficient. Aqueous alumina, process of molecular weight 60,000 atomic mass unit 0.06 to 10 raised to minus 5 centimeter square. Second inverse 25 degrees centigrade and atomic mass unit. Now solute molecule diffuses through solution. Solvent molecule must be pushed out of the way. The reason liquid phase interdiffusion coefficient are inversely proportional both viscosity of solvent and effective radius of the solute molecule. Solid. Diffusion in solid is important topic. Physical metallurgy, materials science. Because of diffusion process, are solid matter elevated temperature They play key role kinetic of many microstructural changes occur. The process metal, alloy, ceramic, semiconductor, glass, polymer. Typical example changes include nucleation of new phases, diffusive phase transmission, perception, dissolution, and second phase recrystallization, high temperature creep, and thermal oxidation. Direct technology application concern diffusion, doping during fabrication of microelectronic devices, solid electrolyte, battery, and fuel cell, surface hardening, steel, and carbonization, nitridization, and fuel cell, surface hardening, steel through carbonization, nitridification, and diffusion, bonding, and sintering. Other example, creep material, fuel cell, heat treatment, mechanical property of metal, phase transmission, plastic deformation of metal, sintering, solid state battery, surface hardening of steel, atomic mechanism of diffusion closely connect, defect in solid, point defect, such as vasing, simple as defect, other media, diffusion, and otherwise perfect crystal, diagnosis, grain boundary, phase boundary, free surface, other type of defect, crystalline solid. This can act diffusion, short circuit because of mobility atom along such defect, usually much higher than the lactic. Now, what do you mean by term diffusion? The word diffusion refer the specific term the molecule get terminate to different part of human body. Human body involve many things. It show presence many molecules. There are constant movement of the molecule. Random movement causes changes, some of gases and liquid. What are type of diffusion? Now, type of diffusion is the movement of particle, heavier region, lower area, and concentration gradient. It means flow from the higher places concentration, lower gradient level. Process called osmosis refer diffusing substance which water. Here some different type of diffusion and osmosis. Diffusion have two main categories. One is passive diffusion, second is facilitated diffusion. Passive diffusion is the movement molecule semi-permeable membrane without protein channel helping cell membrane consist physiological bilayer which are non-polar hydrophobic in nature. Some of example passive diffusion are nitrogen, carbon dioxide, oxygen, etc. We talk facilitate diffusion, non-molecule diffuse, the concentration agent across membrane. This type diffusion require protein and movement. We can categorize protein into two parts, channel protein and carrier protein. Now, what are main factors affect the process diffusion? Particles are continuously moving around because how much nuclear power they have and size of molecule. Climate surrounding molecule impact the development. Particle with constantly moving medium yet variable can impact general flux, dissemination, and here we see main factor affecting process diffusion are temperature. Particles move because of vibrant energy related to them. Temperature expands, the motor energy related. Every molecule likewise increment and according particle will move quicker. They have quicker than that point again diffuse quicker. Alternate when active energy atom diminishes, so does the development. Subsequent less dissemination will be slow. Particle size. Heavier particles move slow and then having slower dissemination pace. Some modest particles again diffuse quicker because they can move quicker. Critical variable influencing dissemination, development, molecule, central decide whether the dispersion, backup, etc. The particle move modest size along the line and move quicker. Androgynous sugar move more slowly, result the size, consistency, arrangement, influence, both yet will intensify back dissemination through gain bit goes through. Now frequently asked questions. What are diffusions? Diffusion is the movement of molecule region higher concentration region to lower concentration down to concentration gradient. List of type of diffusion. Diffusion divided two main types, namely simple diffusion and facilitate diffusion. What are simple diffusion? Simple diffusion are the defined process in which substance move through a semi-permeable membrane solution without help of transport protein. Now, state example, simple diffusion. In cell, water, oxygen and carbon dioxide molecule pass directly through the cell membrane without requiring energy along concentration gradient. This is form of simple diffusion. Now, example of facilitated diffusion. Facilitated diffusion define passive movement molecule across cell membrane from region higher concentration region to lower concentration by means carrier molecule. Provide example facilitated diffusion. In the human body, glucose molecule, sodium, potassium, iron, carrier protein pass through cell membrane. How does semi-permeable membrane work? Now it works through diffusion solute across selective permeable membrane. A selective permeable membrane is the one of the allowed one specific ion molecule pass while offset movement of other molecule. What are factors affecting diffusion? Temperature, area, intersection, size of particle and other stiffness of the concentration gradient are all factors affect process diffusion. Now state significance of diffusion. Diffusion is a very important process occurring all living beings, all living organisms exhibit one of the other form of diffusion allow movement of the molecule during various metabolic and cellular process. Now conclusion. In the diffusion process there are movement of molecule get along with concentration gradient. The diffusion process is the human body. It's the main thing also involve activity human cell. Now we classify diffusion body as passive and facilitate diffusion particle size, temperature. Many factors can affect process of diffusion. Okay guys, this is up to our today's topic diffusion. I hope you get sufficient knowledge after watching this video. Next Sunday we have covered some another chemical engineering topic. Still then goodbye. Do take good care of yourself.